Hello everyone and welcome to episode 41. At least I think it's 41. We've had so many episodes I'm losing count of my Football Manager 2017 Blackburn Rovers save. So, in our last episode, we beat Man City 2-1. 1-0 down most of the game because of a Pulisic goal. John Stones gave us a hand with an own goal. And then James McLean made it 2-1. For people who remember, we were kind of fighting up against Stoke for 5th place in the Premier League. Now, we could have, funnily enough, also snuck into 4th place if Arsenal had maybe lost an extra game or drawn an extra game. But in the end, it wasn't meant to be. And as you can see, we've ended up finishing 6th. We've still finished above teams like Newcastle, Chelsea, Man City, Southampton. You know, so it's not all that bad. So as you can see, the Premier League has finished. We beat Stoke, funnily enough, 2-1. They took the lead. Reece Nelson grabbing the goal, but we then brought it back. Nano getting on the score sheet, who's really, stepped it up in this last half of the season. Marco Rog, new signing in January, gave us that extra bit of class that we needed to beat Stoke. But in the end, it wasn't meant to be. And, by the way, Danny Batth is injured. He's damaged his Achilles tendon. He's out for 4 to 5 months, which isn't great, really. Not great at all. We then went away at Crystal Palace. Now, win this game, and we probably would have nicked 5th spot. And what was really gutting is you look at the stats, we completely dominated the game. You look at the match stats, 3 clear-cut chances. I really couldn't believe what I was seeing. The goals just weren't coming. And I guess the positive was that we kept a clean sheet, but really it was kind of a game we needed to win because Stoke won their game. And then we just about managed a 1-0 victory at home to finish off the season up against Southampton. Southampton, a pretty decent side, saw most of the ball, had most of possession, and it was a nice strike from Kerem Demirbay, who's really improved under our new system to finish things off Premier League wise. Now, if we go to stages, obviously last season we finished 12th. So really, to finish 6th is a significant improvement, and it just really goes to show how much we've come from last season. Credit where it's due to Liverpool winning the title on the last day of the season. It looked like Man United were going to win it for most of the final day of the season until Domenico Berardi in the 76th minute grabbed the winner for Liverpool up against West Brom. Otherwise, it would have been Manchester United's title because it would have left Liverpool, of course, on only 1 point, and Man United were winning their game. As far as United are concerned, we are going to be playing them next in the FA Cup final. Now, I was kind of wary that they were also in a Champions League semi-final. Alvaro Morata getting a goal for them away at the Camp Nou. Drew 1-1 away at the Camp Nou. Decent result for them, really. When I first saw that result, I thought, right, if luck's in our favour, they'll get into the Champions League final and might even end up resting players for the FA Cup. But they lost 1-0. Luis Suarez grabbing that goal. Ex-Liverpool man coming to haunt them. Liverpool haunting Man United this season, I think it's fair to say. Which means that they're going to be all guns a-blazing against us at Wembley to try and get something bar Champions League qualification after slipping up in the Premier League out of this season. We win, we finish 6th and win both the EFL Cup and the FA Cup, which really would be phenomenal. And I think if you'd offered me 6th place and 2 cups versus 5th and 1 cup, I probably would have chosen 2 cups and 6th place rather than 5th place and just 1 cup because, yeah, both cups guarantee us European football anyways. Really, we've not got anything to lose, but it really would be awesome and a phenomenal end to the season if we did manage to beat Man United at Wembley. But with key players like Danny Batth out the side, it's going to be very, very, very difficult. And as we've seen time after time this season, Man United have a phenomenal squad. Antoine Griezmann playing just off Alvaro Morata, the Real Madrid Atletico Madrid duo there up front, Paul Pogba in midfield, and phenomenal players like Mkhitaryan on the bench. It's going to be tough, but on that note, let's finish off the season and see if we can finish off the season with a bang. I'll see you guys at Wembley. Here we go then, FA Cup final, second time, or third time actually, we've played at Wembley this season. First time we won the EFL Cup, second time we beat Liverpool in the semi-finals of the FA Cup a few episodes ago, and here we are in the grand final up against Jose Mourinho's Man United. Now, as you can see, they're missing Juan Mata, who really is a key player for them, but Griezmann is playing still with Morata up front and Pogba and Lucas Lima in midfield, so it's not going to be easy. In terms of what we're doing, Tiote is going to be trying to man-mark Griezmann. We're going to try and see if that can perhaps keep Griezmann a little bit quiet. Normally, we kind of go with Nano up front with this approach. We like that extra bit of pace up front. I've actually decided to go with Nabil Gillas up front in terms of starting the game. I just feel like he'll allow us to save Nano for the second half, where he'll really come on and make a difference, I feel, with his blistering pace. We just obviously need to kind of make sure that we're not 2-0 down by half-time, otherwise it might not even make a difference. In terms of team instructions, not really changed too much. Kind of reckon we know how Man United will play. Mourinho was kind of tearing into me in his pre-match conference, as he normally does. But we'll see what happens, as Karam Demirbay, oh God, played in the corner. It looked like we were going to score there, actually. Morata's going to tackle Andre Gray, and now Man United tried to counter. But I think that was Gillas at the back that managed to win the header. Another interesting point as well, that obviously Callas comes in for Danny Bath, who's out injured, which is not going to be great for us. But when you consider the amount of pace that someone like Morata has, it might actually help to have a slightly speedier defender at the back. 15 acceleration, 17 pace, really fast player is Thomas Callas for a centre-back. Probably because as a youngster he actually used to play a fair bit at right-back as well. But so far so good. We'll 10 minutes in start demanding more of our players and see how things materialise. But of course you can never really count Man United out. Gillas tried to win the ball in the air to no avail though, as Lucas Lima plays the ball out wide. Bernardeschi cuts inside to Morata. Lindelof playing very wide on Man United, trying to get the ball into the box, and somehow we've just conceded. That's really disappointing. That I'm not quite sure what our goalkeeper was trying to do. Disappointed that Thomas Callas, I think that was, would even lose out in the air to Morata. But questions kind of have to be asked with regards to where the hell Brajkovic was. What the hell was he even trying to do? I'm not sure, but 20 minutes in, we're not going to go down without a fight just yet. We've got enough quality in this side to turn things around, unless United go 2-0 up. Well defended there from Dumic, as he finds Sheikh Tiote, Augustinson on the overlap, McLean finds Gillas as Rog plays through Andre Gray. Good tackle though there from Pogba, and can our centre-backs win that in the air? The answer is yes, but they are going to lose Morata yet again. And, well, Morata has really just been a completely different class for Man United so far this game. Not happy with how things are going right now. In a way, question is, what are we gonna do to try and prevent how Morata's playing at the moment? In a way, it kind of feels like our centre-backs should be able to somewhat deal with him, but based on them key highlights we've seen, they've just been quite poor individually. Tiote's not exactly done great trying to keep up with Antoine Griezmann. So for that reason, I'll basically tell him to stop bothering with trying to specifically man-mark Griezmann. And it looks like we are going to go in at half-time 1-0 down. So we'll do what we need to do. We still have 45 minutes to try and get back in this game. And I think, without a shadow of a doubt, Gillas is going to have to come on, and Nano is going to have to come on and see what he can do with an extra burst of pace. If we hit the 60th minute, really, we're yet to really start challenging. Oh. where we're causing Man United problems, we're going to have to go attacking. Rajkovic, very disappointed again. Yeah, Rajkovic, I think it has to be said, he's been at fault for both goals. I mean, Rashford there cut inside way too easily, but for me, the goalkeeper, he just looked like he completely lost balance. And now the question is, what on earth are we going to do to try and change this around? Really, really tough one to call. Take Tiote off in favour of Nigel. Might as well give him a bit of a run around. Ideally, let's see if we can make it 2-1 before the 70th minute and start throwing men forward a little bit more. We might want to perhaps change our inverted fullbacks to wing backs, but it looks like we could grab a goal here. Kerem Demirbay, oh my god, had to score there. I thought that was going to be it. If we'd answered back there, that would have been perfect. We're going to start using the offside trap and play with a slightly higher defensive line. In terms of passing, we're going to change to mixed and tell the players to be a little bit more expressive and start looking for the overlap. And as soon as it lets me, I'm actually going to change our fullbacks to basically become regular wing backs on support. See if they can start taking advantage of a little bit more width, I think, and see if we can start getting a few more balls into the box. In terms of players and what we can change, I want to put Varela on, but for some reason his match sharpness has kind of dropped recently. Kajura's still on the bench, but we really do need to try and push forward and make a difference. We don't really have that direct option unless I opt to basically bring on Danny Graham, which I'm not really going to do, and it could be overload time. Looking quite likely. We're going to go more direct now. We kind of have to forget looking for the overlap, forget working the ball into the box. Let's just forget playing out at the back, you know what I mean? We're going to switch back to mixed because that's now dropped down and we have to get that ball forward. So, yeah. Okay, this is what we're doing. McLean is going to play as an inside forward. Nano as an advanced forward. Going to start going a little bit more route one. It just kind of almost feels like if we can just, you know, grab one goal before the 80th minute or something along them lines, we might still stand a chance. Demirbay will be our advanced playmaker. Rog will play out on the left-hand side, and Nigel will try and dictate play on the inside, and our goalkeeper, of course, will basically go on attack. And, of course, the overload. I don't think we really have much of a choice here, but this is a chance if I've ever seen one. Good pass from Kerem Demirbay. Rog needs to whip this ball in now, but he gets tackled by Luke Shaw. And this is exactly how Mourinho's teams play. They're on the counter. Callas should be able to keep up with this ball, and we need to hoof this ball forward and make a chance of some sort out of it. We need to stay in this. Gray now picks up the ball, uses his pace to find Rog out on that right-hand side. Tackled by Luke Shaw. Not quite sure where our overlapping fullback was. And you can see how many players we've really got forward, and that is the overload mentality kicking in. Not really happy with how it's gone. It looks like Morata is going to make it 3-0. We've been humiliated in this FA Cup final. It's easy to see why Man United kind of beat us 5-0 in the Premier League early on in the season. And Morata, really, as a lone ranger, has kind of torn us a new one. You look at the clear-cut chances, and we've both had the same amount of clear-cut chances, but Man United on this game just constantly always have so much money to spend. They always just seem to have that extra bit of quality that, you know, you always seem to lack. And I remember my really long Football Manager save, I think it was on FM 12 with Blackburn Rovers, where we won like 9... Premier Leagues and 3 or 4 Champions League titles. Can we get a consolation? We can. Yeah, we can. So are we going to try and throw even more men forward here? It's kind of just like, well, you know, what do we really do here? Jesus Christ, there's not really much we can do, is there? Go with 2 advanced forwards. But yeah, even there, where in that save, sorry, where we were basically, in terms of history, I think I had more manager points than Alex Ferguson did in that old version of FM with Blackburn Rovers. Man United was still always a pain in the backside. And really, that's what they're like on Football Manager. But yeah, you look at the stats, it's quite funny. We dominated possession. They only really had 2 more shots on target as opposed to us. We had 3 clear-cut chances to their 2. And in a way, I hate to say it, Rajkovic has finished with a full-time rating of 6.3. And I think even you guys at home will put your hands up and admit that the first 2 goals were really, really, really iffy from him. Maybe should have actually played Jason Steele, who had a really good game for us in the EFL Cup final. But again, this is the same Man United that finished second in the Premier League. This is the same Man United that got knocked out by Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final. So you can't win them all, and that's it really. Wouldn't have really benefited that much from winning the FA Cup, but it would have been nice at least to add onto my CV. I'm not quite sure the fixture lists keep doing this. Can I have all my fixtures, please? Thank you. So, yeah, 3-1 loss against Man United. Disappointing because we played well, and it feels like we would have been okay if it weren't for Rajkovic having a bad game. But we have to pick ourselves up. We need to see how much money we get given in the summer and press on. We've seen significant improvements this season in the 18-19 season. And all I can say really is we'll have European football next season, providing we don't do a West Ham and lose against some Romanian nobody team. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Just to update you guys on a few things, and just as a quick FYI, I think I'm going to do another episode halfway through the summer transfer window just to run you guys through some stuff that's happening before we jump straight into next season and pre-season, of course. So yeah, Asidi, we're finishing this season, guys, with Asidi and Danny Bath injured. May very well get rid of both of them in the summer. I'm not sure yet. Asidi, we obviously signed him on a free. And he was a bit of a gamble, but he's only had 7 appearances for us, which is actually a shame because I brought him in to basically start for us. But he's injury prone. He's 30 years old, and it's funny because he's number 30 as well, and he's not getting any younger. You might remember me a few episodes ago as well saying that Craig Conway and Charlie Mulgrew were players that I was going to get rid of in the summer. Well, believe it or not, they've actually decided to retire, which makes sense. Both players I'd like to keep on as members of staff. However, you look at their staff attributes. Craig Conway, for example, wants to be an assistant manager. Don't really fancy him as an assistant manager. Charlie Mulgrew, really good player. Still very good technically, you know. Shame to see him retire at 33, but he's really lost his legs with 7 acceleration and 7 pace. Doesn't really seem to want to drop down to the lower leagues. And he wants to be a coach. 12 defending, 16 determination, 18 working with youngsters. So I don't think I'm going to sign him up at the moment. I think I'll let him go for a few years, let him build up his licenses, improve that defending attribute, and maybe when it's around 15, 16, bring him back to the club as part of my backroom staff. But yeah, guys, I think that's basically going to be it. It does mean we finish the season now. It means I have to do a few post-season press conferences, and we should find out how much money we're going to get given in the summer. So I'll be right back in a few minutes time, even though it won't really be a few minutes time for you because it'll switch around straight away. So I don't know why I say that. Be right back. Right, guys, we're back. So as you can see, Marco Rog sold quite a lot of shirts, as well as Andre Gray, Nabil Gillas, McLean, and then Asidi. Kind of feel sorry for people that bought shirts with Asidi on the back because he's only played for us 7 times. If we go down, our end of season team meeting went pretty well. Told the guys that I reckon we can qualify for the Europa League next season. Realistically speaking, I think we should be aiming for either, you know, a top 5 finish and guarantee proper Europa League qualification, not have to basically qualify through a cup and then through Europa League qualifiers. If that makes any sense, or even look towards a Champions League. And Mourinho's been moaning. Apparently, I didn't agree to shake his hand or something like that. I've no idea what's up with Mourinho. In the season awards, somehow, Johan Gouffran got the fan player of the season, which is kind of a surprise, really. Yeah, he didn't play that much for us in the second half of the season. His legs are going. Not quite sure if he'll be here next season. Quite versatile, though, so we might keep him in. Andre Gray finished second. 10 goals, only 10 goals this season in the Premier League. Will we look to offload him? Maybe so, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. But without a shadow of a doubt, he definitely didn't click this season the same way he clicked last season. But we brought this man in to be backup for Andre Gray, and he was certainly backup and made up for the goals that Andre didn't get. 5 assists as well for Nano. When you consider he only really started playing for us in the second half of the season, credit where it's due to this man. Will he be here next season? Again, don't really know. Cheick Tiote got goal of the season. Signing of the season, surprise, surprise, was Nano. Young player of the season as well was Nano. And in terms of stats, top goal scorer was Andre Gray, 16 goals. Yeah, but most of them, in fact, 6 of them came in the cups. So, versus 16 goals alone in the Premier League, meh. He got 8 assists, though, which was nice to see. Kajura, 92 best pass completion ratio, which is kind of funny considering he was injured for half the season. James McLean, 5 player of the match awards. And surprise, surprise, our defensive midfielder in Cheick Tiote had most cards. Now, the numbers you're all waiting for. We've only been given 58.63 million quid to spend in the summer. Kind of disappointed with that. I would have liked a little bit more, but we'll have to make do with what we've got. As you can see, we're currently spending 946k a week on wages, so we will, of course, have players leaving, which will free up that extra bit of cash. And I think, roughly speaking, we're going to have around 45 to 50 million quid to spend in the summer. How much of that am I going to spend? Well, to compete in the Europa League, I'm going to have to spend a fair bit. Now, as you can see, I've been kind of like looking at some players. Marco Asensio being a great player on this game, but Real Madrid kind of want 75 million quid for him, so that's not even going to happen. But this is where I bid you all farewell for this season. I'm going to be doing another episode, like halfway through transfer season, where we'll basically look at who got promoted, who got relegated, what's going on in different countries, simply because I don't want to over-bloat this episode and make it too long. Let me know in the comments if you think there are any positions that you reckon we need to strengthen. You guys will have already seen this tactical approach and will know that it's going to be our tactical approach next season. Plugging it in really is something I've been working on for a while, and if our schedule properly works, it was going really bad for us until we plugged it in, and to be fair, I think it's safe to say it definitely got the job done. 3-0 win against Liverpool, Premier League champions. Bear that in mind, guys, and it was not a weakened side. 2-1 win against Man City, good win against Stoke, who just crept above us, win against Southampton, draw against Palace, and again, we were really, for me, unfortunate. If it weren't for a howler of a performance from our goalkeeper, we had more clear-cut chances. The difference at the end of the day probably was David De Gea versus Rajkovic, which is a shame because on paper he's great, but he just hasn't performed recently. What do you guys think I need to do? I don't know. But yeah, if it weren't for him having a howler, we'd have probably gone into extra time, and who knows what might have happened, and we may have finished this season with 2 cups. Let me know what positions you think I should strengthen. I definitely think we need to start scoring a few more goals. I'll be looking to strengthen in the front 3 areas and probably centre-back as well. Not too sure yet. We'll have to wait and see. If there are any players you have in mind, I know on previous episodes some people have been suggesting players that have been scouting and so on. Let me know. And until next time, I've been Kynite. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. See you next season.